Well, welcome back to the Pro Body Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Janos Prochuk, and this is my lovely wife, Melissa Prochuk, and we are here to help you live the best lifestyle possible.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We're very excited for today's episode, like we are with every episode.
Yes, today we are going to be talking about how to stay on track over the weekends. This is a topic we had a lot of requests for because as people try and lose weight, it's arguably the hardest thing is that you feel like you have to give up all of your social life. You feel like you have to give up all the events, and people always ask us, okay, well, I want to lose weight. And some people try and wait for the perfect time to lose weight. But the reality is that it never happens because you can't lose weight over 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And the reality is no matter when you start your weight loss journey, it's going to be at least kind of 12 weeks or longer. And so within that time period, there's always going to be events coming up. There's always going to be birthdays. There's always going to be weddings. It's never going to be a perfect time that you're waiting for when nothing comes up. So that's the first thing, is just realize that there is going to be no perfect time to start except for right now. And it's just about learning how to adjust and how to adjust and cope with all the different events you have on those weekends to not give up your social life. So that's what we're going to be tackling today in today's episode, because it's a massive topic, and it's the difference between success and failure. I find is that if you just try and like rough it and do no social events, inevitably you fall off track because you're not enjoying life, right?
Yeah, and that's why our approach is very different with coaching. Is we teach our clients that you still can enjoy the weekend and enjoy having a social life, a dating life, whatever it is, and still achieve your goals. And I think that's why, like you said, a lot of people they put off achieving their goals, their fitness, their health goals, because they're like, well, I've got a few weddings coming up. I'm really busy. I'll wait till a season that I can really dedicate myself. But that's pretty much teaching yourself that you can only do well with your health and fitness when life is really quiet. And when is life ever always quiet? We always have things on. You don't want to be that person that can't leave your house to achieve your goals. So we actually got inspired by this episode, like you were saying, with a lot of our clients talking about it. But I had a client in their weekly check-in ask if we could do this podcast episode because she's in a season of dating, in a very busy social life season right now as well. But she really wants to achieve her health and fitness goals and not put them at the back. So she's like, how do I manage and balance both of them?
Yeah, and I think it's really the secret to, number one, losing weight in the first place. But it's also the tools you will learn in this episode are the tools that you need to be able to have sustainable weight loss where you keep it off for good, for life. Because again, you're not going to have this perfect window where you lose the weight and then just go back to living the way you were and expect to keep the weight off. Like if you don't learn these habits and these tools that we're about to teach you, then you're not going to have a sustainable result because you're never going to learn how to be able to balance maintaining the body weight that you want, the desired goal, and being able to still have social events and be able to have your weddings that you go to and just enjoy life and just develop that really, it's a skill of learning how to enjoy life at the same time of either hitting your fitness goals or maintaining your fitness goals.
Yes, but see, that's where a lot of people have gone wrong in the past, is they've done very strict challenges where it's like 6 to 8 weeks where you completely act like a whole new person, which is what you want to do, but you restrict yourself from everything that you love. And guess what? As soon as that challenge finishes, you go back to your normal, in quotation marks, your normal diet, where we're more about teaching you, hey, let's actually learn how to have a new normal diet. What's your new normal that introduces healthier foods, but also allows you to go out over the weekend and enjoy your life. But of course, I think the biggest thing people need to remember when they're trying to balance, having a social life, but being really healthy at the same time and trying to lose weight or trying to track for the first time, is you have to understand the season that you're in. Now, Janos and I are not in a season where we're trying to lose weight, we're trying to be really strict with our calories. So we can go out over the weekend and be a little bit more relaxed with it. We don't have to be so strict and plan ahead. But if we're in a season where right now we're going into a calorie deficit where we wanted to lose weight, we wanted to, get to a certain number on the scale in a specific amount of time, then that's a season where you may have to say a few no's to say yes to your goals.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think also the approach matters a lot here too, because this is where the way that we teach weight loss is through what we call flexible dieting. And so it's where, or it's also known as if it fits your macros. And so what that means is that we teach our clients what calories they need to be hitting and what macro targets they need to be hitting. And then it's flexibility within that constraint, right? So as long as they're eating, let's say if it was a 1800 calorie diet, if that's your target for the day, then technically you could still lose weight no matter what foods you put into that diet, as long as it fits your macros, right?
Yeah.
Or if it fits that allocation. So that's the first thing that we do with our clients and with ourselves is we do a flexible approach where we're focusing more on identifying and teaching our clients what is the calorie targets they've got to aim for and the macro targets they've got to aim for. And then really the client can then make up whatever foods they want as long as it's below those macro targets or it's hitting those macro targets.
Yeah.
And that's what really unlocks the flexibility to be able to do this, because then you're not following a strict meal plan where you have to cut out alcohol completely, cut out cheap meals completely, cut out, quote unquote, bad foods.
Yeah.
Where if you know that, okay, this is my calorie target, I can eat up to 1800 calories per day, then that means that I now have the flexibility to go to Macca's with my friends if that's what they're doing. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll go to Macca's, but as long as I can make that day end up less than 1800 calories, even though I ate Macca's for that day, I technically still haven't failed because I'm actually within my targets.
Yeah, I have a client who's a paramedic, and every Friday night on that late night shift, they always, as a group with the paramedics, they go to McDonald's. And I see the McDonald's tracked in her tracker every Friday night, the cheeseburger meal, the shake. I love it. I love that she can still fit that into her macros and calories and her goals and still yet achieve those health and fitness goals that she has without restricting herself and missing out. But this is where a lot of people go wrong. They go, okay, wow, Mel, you're saying I can have McDonald's, I can do this, I can go out on the weekend still. You've got to understand that when you're eating food that isn't cooked by you, it's cooked by a restaurant, it's cooked by a fast food chain, they are not going to be 100% accurate with the calories and macros usually. It's cooked usually by like a 12-year-old. And the food that's in a restaurant is designed to taste delicious. There's going to be hidden oils, hidden butters, hidden sauces that are so high in calories that are going to throw off your tracking a little bit. So it is really hard to track multiple meals out. And that's why we were talking about before with the seasons. Know what season you're in and go, okay, if I have 5 things coming up this weekend, and if I'm in a season where I actually want to see quick results, then I may need to reduce the amount of places I'm eating at. It doesn't mean you don't eat there, as in you don't go out, but maybe you choose a healthier option there, or you eat before you go for that season. It's just about understanding the season you're in.
Yeah, and this is where tools like ChatGPT and AI can be super helpful, because when you go out and you're not sure, you can actually just ask ChatGPT, hey, I'm trying to lose weight. What meal would be the best one on the menu? For our clients, they actually reach out to us as coaches sometimes and ask us. But even when you're trying to track, when you have those more difficult meals where you're just not sure, how do I track this? That's where one of the best features with ChatGPT and some of the AI ones is you can literally just take a photo of the meal that you ended up buying and eating. Yeah. And then just ask ChatGPT, once you send the photo, hey, can you help me track the calories and macros of this meal? Now, it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah, it won't be perfect.
But it'll give you a rough estimation. And then you can just take that, open up our app, and just put it straight in there from there. So that way it makes tracking super easy, because you just had ChatGPT do its best kind of guess. But again, you just got to remember that there is going to be a little element of error to it as well.
Yeah, great point. And a lot of our clients send the menu of the place they're going to over the weekend, and that's where preparation comes in. And what I do when I look at it, I use ChatGPT as well. And I look at the menu and I type into ChatGPT out of these 3 options, and I type in the exact ingredients if they've got the list of the ingredients in the menu, which one would be less calories and better macros, but also can you add some oil in there as well and some sauces to the calories, so I can get a rough estimation about how much oil would be in there. And it gives me a rough estimation of, like, let's say, for example, 600 calories. So then I know, okay, if I'm going out for lunch with my friends and I've saved around 600 to 700 calories already a few days beforehand for that lunch, I know on the day, maybe I need to reduce my snacks on that day and only have the breakfast, dinner, and my lunch that I've already planned ahead of time. And that's where preparation comes in. You don't want to be getting to a restaurant in a season of weight loss and just look at the menu and feel so overwhelmed and be like, oh, I'll just make a quick decision. Because if you're not already feeling confident to set boundaries and communicate that you're in a weight loss season with friends or family, then you're probably just going to choose what everyone else is choosing. But it's really important to plan ahead and already go, no, I know exactly what I'm having. You don't even have to look at the menu. Just put it down, like order, and then that's it. Yeah. One more point. You can also ask waiters to be like, hey, can you actually, reduce the oil, or can you not have use any butter for this? You have a responsibility, and you actually have the power to ask these things. You don't have to, but I'm just saying, if you want to go to that next level, you actually are able to ask that. I know when I get avocado on toast with eggs, I ask for no butter. It's just easier that way.
Yeah, and it's just important as well to remember that these are your goals. And so if you want to hit your goals, you do need to prioritize your goals.
Yeah.
And so you just, in that season, you do either just have to say no, or you could ask your friends if you can meet up in a different place.
Yeah.
Or if you do end up going to, a restaurant that's not going to have the most healthy kind of meals, that's where knowing what your calorie goals are, your targets are. So if you know that you have 1,800 calories per day, and then planning your week, I love that point that you said. If you know that in your week, on Friday night, you're going out, and then on Saturday, you have another day you're going out, you could actually do what we like to call calorie budgeting, where you're saving calories from earlier in the week. So you think, okay, you know what? Instead of eating 1,800 calories per day, which is my target, maybe I'll eat 1,600 calories per day, which is saving 200 calories. So I'm budgeting 200 per day to then add on to my Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
So now I've got an extra, if you got, 5 times 200, then that's going to be an extra 10,000, not 10,000. An extra 1,000.
We're really good at math over here.
Yeah. So you'll have an extra 1,000 calories saved
Yeah.
up that you can then use either on the Friday night, or you can do an extra 500 for the Friday and the Saturday. So then now on those days, instead of 1,800 being your target, you've actually got a higher target that you can aim for, where you can have a meal that instead of having a 500 calorie meal for dinner, you now have an extra 500 calories that you could use for alcohol, or you could use it to have a bit of a funner meal and enjoy a 1,000 calorie dinner because you've saved up that extra 500 calories from days prior.
Yep.
So that's a massive tool that I like to teach my clients, is plan out your week in advance, know what you're doing for the week ahead, so that you can start to calorie budget and save calories for those events. And like you said, you can also calorie budget within the day. So if you're someone who normally eats a big breakfast, maybe have just a coffee and a smaller breakfast before you go out. So not only have you saved calories from earlier in the week from different days and brought them over, but now you're saving calories from earlier in the morning or the lunchtime meals, and then you're pushing them towards dinner because you know you've got a big dinner coming up.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I want to go off that with also saying about the calorie budgeting. Like we were saying before, you're never going to know the amount of calories that are in certain things that you're eating at restaurants, etc. Even if you've planned ahead, you may be that little bit more over. So I love that you mentioned budgeting. And even if you go that little bit over, we always overestimate the calories that we're eating out. So even if we look on ChatGPT and it says 600 calories, I'll actually be like, oh, it's probably around 800 calories. Let's be real. You never realize how quickly those calories can add up. So even if I have overestimated, at least I've saved a bit of calories again. But even if I've gone over on one day, I just go under my calories on the next day and budget it out that way. And I always kind of remind myself that, and remind my clients, even if I do make a mistake and go over my calories slightly when I'm out with friends, maybe I didn't plan ahead, maybe I didn't set my boundaries well. I'm always thinking, instead of having the all or nothing mindset of waiting till Monday again to restart, I just think, how quickly can I get back on track after I've made a small mistake? Because that's all that matters. Not about, making the mistake. We're all going to make mistakes. It's how quickly can you just get right back on track again, forgive yourself, and then just start eating back at your normal calories.
Yeah, I love that. And the other thing is that you need to remember that if your metabolism, because when you're setting your calorie target at 1,800, that's your calorie deficit goal. But really your metabolism, like your maintenance calories, might be something more like 2,500. So 2,500 is the calories where you don't gain weight. That's just what it costs to maintain your body.
Yep.
So if you've accidentally gone above your 1,800, which is your fat loss goal, that's your calorie deficit, and you ate 2,000, you're actually still in a calorie deficit.
Yep.
Like you didn't hit your desired calorie deficit number of 1,800, but you're still actually below your metabolism, which might be 2,500.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And so a lot of people just need to get over the fact that, I didn't hit my exact target of 1,800.
I did 1,850. It's like that 50 is not going to make a massive impact.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? You're actually still losing weight, just slightly slower. It's only if you go way above, if you're aiming for 1,800, then you go for 3,000, well, then now you're actually going to be gaining body fat.
Yeah, and that's why when I look ahead at my weeks and I do have a very social week coming up, I actually say to myself, oh, this is just a maintaining week probably. And I already release myself from that guilt to be like, oh no, it's not going to be a good week. I'll just give up completely and eat whatever I want. No, it's actually just going to be a week of maintaining. But then I flip it and go, okay, if I've got a bit of extra calories in my system this week, I'm going to use those calories as fuel to push even harder in the gym to my advantage. So it's about flipping the script there and going, okay, well, I might as well look at this as a positive because I can't actually be in control of going to a wedding, etc., but I can use it to my advantage. Another question that I also ask myself when I have a lot of events, like social things coming up in a weight loss season, or if I'm dating someone, whatever it is, well, I'm married, but when I was dating Janos, is I would ask myself, is this worth delaying my success or my progress? So for example, if like dessert, everyone's ordering dessert. And of course there's that element of like, oh, but I also want the, chocolate cake and the ice cream. Of course you want that. We're all human. But I ask myself, is this worth me tomorrow going, oh, I shouldn't have done that? Or is this actually worth it? Like, this is a once in a lifetime dessert where I'm never coming back to this restaurant probably, and I want to try it. If I actually say yes, it's actually worth delaying my progress a few days, then I'm going for it and I'm not going to feel guilty. And I always tell my clients this, if you've decided to actually go for it, don't feel guilty. You've made that choice. There's pros and cons to everything. But if it's not worth it and you think, oh, I actually can have this at any time, I actually want to achieve my goals and I don't want to have to complain about it tomorrow, then please say no for a season.
I'd say that that's more for when you're in that maintenance kind of stage.
Yeah.
When you're trying to just maintain your weight, that's how we think. But when you're locked in, so for our clients who are trying to hit their goals by a certain date, they've got a wedding coming up, or for me, when I was, trying to shred for my judo tournaments, I couldn't be flexible with my goals. That's where if you keep having weeks where your body weight's not going down because you're just maintaining, then that's an issue because you're not actually learning how to balance your social life and your goals. You're just letting your social life overcome your goals that you have. And so that's where I would say that you're probably not planning your weeks right enough.
Yep.
So you might want to listen to our podcast. It was 2 or 3 episodes ago about how to plan your week and how to, get our productivity system.
Yeah.
But that's pointing to an issue of, okay, well, if you're constantly having weeks where you're just maintaining and you're just hitting maintenance, well, then that's where you're not preparing well enough in advance. So you need to look at, okay, be realistic. When are you actually going out with your friends? And then now you need to start doing that calorie budgeting we were talking about. You need to start picking better foods on the menu.
Yeah.
Maybe start sharing dessert so you can still have a mouthful. You can still taste it, but then you can let your friend finish the rest of the dessert. You don't have to eat the rest of it.
Such a good point. And you'll see us post about some clients that have dramatic weight loss, like 35, 40 kilos. And I'll have other clients who haven't lost that weight yet go, oh, Mel, why? How are they doing it? And it looks really fabulous on Instagram. Like, look at us posting their before and afters. It looks so easy, right? But no one sees the behind the scenes of them saying no to so many things. And people then start going, oh, they must be cheating. They must be on medications, whatever it is. It's like, no, they've actually just kept saying no, constantly to say yes to losing the weight. And it's just understanding that every no is a yes to something else. But every yes to eating out constantly of the weekend is saying no to your goals. So you need to be okay. Like Janos said, if you're in a constant season of just maintaining your weight and you're not sure why, then the scale is telling you that you aren't in a consistent calorie deficit, and you may need to plan ahead and say no to way more things than you think you do. Because a lot of our clients will say, Mel, I've been in a deficit for so long. And I look at them and I go, no, you're actually in a deficit for 4 days a week. And 3 of those days, you actually eat way over your calories, and then you think you're in a deficit. But then because you keep going back and forth, it feels like you're in a deficit for so long because it's taking so much longer to lose weight because you're delaying the progress. But if you actually just went all in and said no to so many meals out and all those kind of things and social events and eating out instead of eating at home, then you wouldn't have to keep complaining.
I always say that dipping your toe in the water with weight loss is one of the worst things you can do.
Yep.
Because then it has when you're half trying to lose weight, psychologically, it feels like you're dieting. It feels like so you get the psychological drain of dieting, even though you're not actually losing the weight.
Yeah,
Whereas
that's worse.
If you go all in, then you get the exact same amount of psychological drain because you're like, okay, well, for the next 4 weeks, I'm going all in, except that you actually get the results at the end of it as well.
Yep.
So just make sure you're not dipping your toe in the water. Make sure you're committing to the weight loss when you're ready to commit to the weight loss. so that you can get momentum and start. And like we were saying, we can only choose some funner things on the menu because we're saving the calories to be able to pick a funner thing on the menu. But if you're not doing that, if you haven't calorie budgeted, then you're going to need to pick a smarter option on the menu. You can't have it both ways. Like you need to, if you give up breakfast, then yes, now I can have pizza for dinner because I've saved up an extra 500 calories that I didn't eat for breakfast for the funner pizza. But if you had breakfast and then you went out to lunch with a friend and then you're going out to dinner with somebody, then, well, you've not budgeted. You haven't budgeted things appropriately to be able to go out. So that's where if you want to go out that many times, you're going to need to have smarter choices on the menu. Where if you want to have more fun foods, then that's where you need to be prepared in advance and do the calorie budgeting to save up calories to make it work.
Yeah, you've got to be all in. Like you said, don't dip your toes in. If you really want to see some results, and it doesn't have to be like this forever, but in the beginning of starting anything, a business, a health journey, whatever it is, or being in a new relationship, you have to go to that next level and invest way more time, effort, energy into it than any other area of your life. It doesn't mean you get rid of other areas of your life, but it just means that all the choices that you're making have to lead to that goal. So whenever my clients start and they're in that season of feeling motivated, they have to be all in. They have to say no to certain things. But as we start to lose weight and we're teaching their body to do that, they're starting to put some muscle on, they're getting into a really good flow with their habits. This is where we start to go, okay, let's start to reintroduce now having these meals, doing this with friends, but it's all a work in progress. We don't expect you to be perfect straight away, and we're still not perfect. But I think the thing that's helped me over the years, staying on track when going out and still being able to make my health and fitness goals be that number one priority in most of our life, is setting those boundaries and communicating with the people around me. Now, we only keep people around us that really support us. Like, I would hardly say that if we said to anyone, we're tracking our meals right now, or we're not eating out because of this, that I don't think there's anyone that would really judge us, because we're very...
I think there is. It's just that
we don't care.
Mel's underestimating how much strength we've built in ourselves.
True. At the start, I remember though, like I would even have like family members, no offense guys, but I would bring my tracking to dinners sometimes if I was in a season where, for example, we're having dinner on a Monday night. I'm like, I can't be bothered to eat a meal that's not tracked on a Monday night. I would literally go over and be like, hey guys, I brought my meal prep, but I still want to hang around you. And remember this, I'm going on a tangent now. Remember, if you're hanging out with someone and you're being social life is about meeting up with that person and being social. It actually has nothing to do with food. It's just an element of meeting up with someone, because otherwise if you just sit there, it's a bit awkward. So remember to tell your friends, I actually still want to hang out with you. I still want to make the time for you. I don't want to miss out on this time. However, I am in a season where I'm trying to put my health and fitness first, and I am going to either eat beforehand and have a Coke Zero with you, or I'm going to choose this meal, but it's going to be small. So I just wanted to let you know why, and you don't have to choose that meal, but I'm going to. But this is the reason why, and feel confident in what you said. I can guarantee if you've good friends and family around you, then they will be like, yeah, great, awesome, whatever. But like we've mentioned before, if they do judge you, it has nothing to do with you. It's not your responsibility to help them. It's not your responsibility to change their mind. It's they can have their own thoughts, and that's okay.
Yeah. And remember, to live a lifestyle that other people don't live, you have to be prepared to live a lifestyle that other people don't live. Like, to be the exception and to achieve something exceptional, you have to be prepared to be the exception, to be different to people around you. And we always try to remind people that being social, like if you are the leader, like be the leader in your social situations. Like, instead of just like caving to whatever they want to do, what they want to do for catch-ups, to be social, you don't have to always go and eat food. You can go for walks. Like, you can do something fun. You can go do axe throwing or something random, right?
Well, people know that whenever we meet up or we plan it, we plan ahead and go, okay, do you want to do a coffee walk? I don't want to sit down in a restaurant. I actually want to go for a walk, get my steps up, and walk for 2 hours with a coffee in hand, which is so easy to track. Be the person who plans for that, get together.
Well, like last week, I asked one of my mates to do a Spartan race with me.
Yeah. Woohoo! Don't be friends with us.
Yeah, be careful being friends with us.
To go back to the start of this podcast as well, the main question was, how do I, in a dating season, how do I manage my health and fitness goals as well? Because I know when we first started dating, it was peak COVID time, and we were dating as in like we would eat a lot. That's how you date. You do eat a lot. Even though we're PTs, we'd go to restaurants and things like that. It's very easy to be like, oh, I didn't realize how much weight I'm putting on. And you don't want to, for that first time you're seeing them going, hi, sorry, can I get my my weight out here, my tracker, and then just see how many grams that is. Like, unless they're a PT as well, it's a bit weird. But I think the thing that I was telling the client that asked this was, if you've been dating someone for a while and you're in a season where you want to take your health and fitness a bit more seriously, if they really mean a lot to you, why not do it together? Like, communicate with them and be like, okay, well, why don't we do this season together and try it together and try to be our healthiest self together and sell it in a really great way, because being healthy is actually really cool. And if your partner doesn't want to do that, then maybe you don't want to date them. But like, I just think, I know with us, when we got to a season, I know for myself, I put on a few kilos, I put on a few kilos when we started dating for the first time. And I was like, whoa. But I communicated with Janosch, hey, can we do more dates where it's actually us training together? We go on more hikes and we start cooking together a little bit better. We weren't the best at the start. Remember that raw chicken? Oh my goodness, that was bad. We had raw chicken, guys. We're better now, don't worry. But it's about communicating.
Mel's cooking, by the way.
Yeah, I know, sorry. We communicated that together and we grew stronger. And I realized, wow, this is actually someone I want to date because they support my goals and we do it together, which is so fun. Because otherwise, awkwardly, you're going to the gym and not spending time with your partner. And I can guarantee you probably have a very busy lifestyle that, you know, when you have a few hours outside of work in your busy life, that's when you want to date that person and go on dates. But what if you join your health and fitness goals and your dating life together and save time? That's what I would do.
Yeah. And again, that's where just learning the skill of calorie budgeting is so essential, because then that's where you're, again, being prepared for the things in advance. If you know that, okay, you know what, I do want to go out with them and have some burgers, or I do want to have a bit of a fun date night with them, then number one, can you add an active component to that date night? So then that way you're burning a few extra calories throughout the night, and then you can eat that fun meal afterwards as well.
Yeah.
But number two, if you calorie budget properly, then you should be able to eat an extra 1,000 calories for that dinner because you've budgeted appropriately. But if you haven't done that and you haven't developed the skills for that, then of course you're just kind of like hoping, and it's just undoing your progress.
Yeah, well, that comes to my next point that I had is prepare for the weekend like you do for the week. Now, I know a lot of us, and you're probably thinking this too, like you go grocery shopping on the weekend, a Saturday or Sunday, you plan in your calendar maybe the week ahead, and Monday to Thursday is so organized and prepared with meals and everything so perfectly, but then you get to Thursday and you're like, oh, I first of all have no groceries left over. I've got a few events coming up this weekend, so I'll just wait for my next grocery run. Where we've had the change in heart where now we have like a midweek kind of reset where we either have meals in the freezer ready to go just in case we have no meals until our next grocery shop, or we just plan ahead to the point where we're like, okay, if we have an event coming up on the weekend, which is one meal, maybe one wedding that we're going to, there's still meals around that we can still prepare ahead for. So we try to keep our weekends just the exact same as our weekdays. And people look at weekends like it's a, you know, oh, we can give up on our training, we can give up on all our healthy habits and restart on Monday. We're only healthy Monday to Friday. But if you prepare ahead of time and make sure your weekends look exactly like your weekdays, that is when you'll go to the next level. It is always when our clients get through multiple weekends in a row, they finally start to see the scale coming down. And I know it's like, but Mel, you have no idea how busy we are on the weekends. It's so hard. So many people want to meet up. Like, those are the times where I finally get to relax. I totally understand that. But why does your relaxation and meeting up with people always have to be really high calorie meals? Be the person who influences others around you to be like, oh, like, let's actually be active. Let's eat healthy. Let's do the really good things in just this season.
Yeah. And this is like literally the superpower of doing intermittent fasting as well.
Yeah.
Like both Mel and I, intermittent fasting, guys, is basically just skipping breakfast.
I don't do intermittent fasting, but Janosch does.
Well, you do.
When?
Well, for example, on the weekends.
I have like 5 meals a day.
Yeah, but like normally if we go to a weekend, right, we have coffee, we go to church, and then we have lunch.
Yeah, true. However, but intermittent fasting, a lot of people think that it's completely removing breakfast out of their day, and then they go lunch, snack, dinner, where I will have a coffee and then later on have my breakfast, then lunch, snack and dinner, and push it further along. Yeah. So I still have those calories.
So just to clarify for everybody listening, what Mel is calling her breakfast, the time of day she's eating that is actually lunchtime, or it's like an early lunchtime.
Yeah, I push all my meals later in the day because I find for me personally that I am really hungry midday onwards. So I'm like, well, I want more calories to eat later. So I'll just save my calories up for that time. Depends on the day though. If I've trained early in the morning, then I'll still have my breakfast really early too. It changes every day. Yeah. However, Janosch, you do sometimes skip breakfast and just go for a big lunch and a big dinner. But that works for you. That does not work for me.
I still have 3 meals a day. It's just that I just have them later in the day. So anyway, going back to my point about the weekends, right? What Mel and I do, she doesn't think she does, but she just calls breakfast lunchtime. But what we both do is we actually just have coffee in the morning, and then we don't really eat breakfast so that we can just have a big lunch or a big dinner. So be okay sometimes. Like if you've eaten enough calories for your lunch, like if you had a massive lunch, we've had times where we actually just come home and we don't eat dinner. Because we're just that full. And you've all probably experienced this. You've been that full from the amount of calories you had at lunch that you maybe went to this amazing steak restaurant, had awesome steak, had this like potato dish, all of this. And if you're literally not hungry at dinner time, don't force yourself to eat more food because you think you need dinner, because you don't. Like once your body has enough food for the day, you've got enough food in your body. Like your body knows how to use those calories over time. And let's say if you had a day where you ate zero food, your body still has body fat on itself to turn into calories to run your body. So be okay with, on the weekends, skipping meals. So if you know that you have a massive lunch coming up, skip breakfast, just have a coffee, have that massive lunch, and then for dinner, maybe just have a like really small dinner. If you had a massive dinner, maybe the next day you're like, you know what, I'm still so full from dinner, I don't need breakfast now on the Sunday. I'll just have like a smaller lunch and a smaller dinner. So be okay with either reducing the sizes of your meals, completely skipping meals, and even skipping meals like dinner if you're not hungry. Don't feel like you have to force feed yourself because you just feel like, oh no, if I don't eat every 5 hours, like every 2 hours or something, my metabolism's going to go down, because it's not a thing.
I completely agree. There's just one thing that I am a little bit different with there is I personally like to teach my clients now, and I never used to be like this, try to eat a high protein meal before you go out. Like for example, some of my clients will go to weddings and be like, well, I'm not going to eat all day and then just eat at the wedding. Where I'm like, you're going to get to that wedding and be so hungry. Your blood sugar levels are going to be so low that you're going to binge. I personally like to have a small meal before I go out somewhere, so I'm more controlled before I go to that event. Just like before I go grocery shopping, I never go to grocery shopping when I'm hungry. Otherwise, I'm going to go down the chocolate aisle and choose all the chips and stuff because I'm just like, oh, I need quick food. I'll just buy all this and eat it in the car maybe. Where if I go full, I won't even look at those aisles because I'm like, ew, like I can't even imagine eating chocolate right now. Now, I hate it when I get home later that night and I'm like, oh, I hate that healthy Melissa went shopping. However, it's really good because it stops you from doing silly things sometimes. So I understand, I agree with the dinner thing where it's like, if you've had a massive meal, you actually don't need to eat dinner that night. Like your body we forget how well structured our body is, and it has body fat reserves that it can use. But if you find that you're someone who binges a lot when you get to events, probably better to have a higher protein meal, so just something small to satiate you before you go to that event.
Yeah. By the way, if you are hungry for dinner, we're not saying skip dinner.
Oh, and we're not saying don't eat at all. Don't quote us right now and be like, oh my God, they're telling us not to eat. No. We're just saying that our bodies are incredible and we actually could survive on no food, but we're not saying to do that.
No. So what we're trying to tell you and what we're trying to teach you is to budget your calories and to just, if you know you've got a big lunch coming up, save calories from breakfast for that lunch. If you had a massive lunch and you're not hungry at dinner, feel free to skip the dinner. Or if you are slightly hungry, have a little bit of a smaller dinner or have a healthier dinner. So just go based on your hunger signals, like be smart. But what the main theme is that we're saying is that make sure that you're budgeting your calories appropriately throughout your week and also throughout your days.
Yep.
That's the main thing we're talking about.
Yeah. Another thing that helps me stay on track over the weekends is trying to keep some of my healthier habits on that weekend still. So for me, for example, I finish all my training strength sessions by Friday. But if I can get a walk in on the weekend, walking or training is like the domino effect to me doing all my other healthy habits. So when I train or when I go for a walk, I mentally now want to eat well. When I eat well, I'm a better person. When I'm a better person, I'm a better wife. When I'm a better wife, like it's the domino effect of me being the best version of Melissa. So find that thing that is kind of the catalyst to you doing every healthy habit, especially nutrition. And for me, it's going for a walk, getting in the gym. So if you feel like you're a bit nervous about going out on the weekend on a date night or a wedding or whatever it is, try to move your body that morning or that lunchtime, and then it will probably motivate you to stay more on track that day.
Yeah, no, I love that. The other thing is just be committed. Like just be committed. So don't just use all of these social, because what we're talking about is how to balance doing social events to hit your goals. But what we're not talking about today is, okay, this means that every weekend you can have parties, every weekend you can go out and have burgers and things like this. Every Friday night, every Thursday night you can do this. Like, you are still trying to lose weight. You do need to still prioritize your goals.
Yeah.
So make sure that you are still prioritizing them. But what we're talking about today is the exceptions where you're like, oh, you know what? I can't rearrange that wedding. I can't rearrange that lunch for somebody's birthday.
Yeah.
Like, so in those circumstances, this is how we budget things out. But it's not like we're intentionally trying to plan our week to sabotage our results.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're constantly failing, if you feel like you're constantly just maintaining weight and your goal is to lose weight, then you need to change something. You do need to say no more. You need to budget your calories better, or you need to pick better food options on those menus to make sure that you are in a calorie deficit. And this is where a lot of our clients, we teach them to keep tracking. And what we do too is when you're in a weight loss phase, just because you have a social event doesn't mean you throw your hands up in the air and you be like, I didn't know how to track, I'm not going to track. Because by not tracking, you are the most wrong. Like, you've put nothing in your calorie tracker.
Great
so
point.
you are the most wrong by tracking nothing. Whereas if you just guesstimated and just picked, like, if you had some, I don't know, some weird meal you didn't know how to track, like ramen, let's say, for example, the easy way to do that is to just type in whatever type of ramen you had. So pork, tonkotsu ramen.
Yeah.
Pick any of them. Maybe increase the servings to 1.5 serves or 1.25 serves to count, for the extra error there might be. And then just track that. So that way you've tracked something and you're already less wrong than if you tracked nothing. And you're keeping yourself accountable because you're like, okay, well, now I'm being smart. I know that, okay, that was probably like an 800 calorie soup that I may have just had. So now I know how much I went over potentially today. So tomorrow I can start to adjust tomorrow to account for the extra calories I had today.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But don't just throw your hands up in the air and give up.
No, and going off that point, this is what I don't understand sometimes is if you are truly wanting to lose weight or achieve a health and fitness goal and you are actually serious about achieving it, then why are you allowing these events to control you? No one, I can guarantee, no one at these events, no friends or family are like forcing food down your throat going, you must eat it, unless you're in like a cultural kind of
Unless
like,
you're Polish and you have a babcha, then they're like, eat.
Eat now, you're skinny. Which, thank you very much, Babcha, for calling me skinny. No, I just don't understand because personally, I know for you and me, but I can only speak for myself, is when I am switched on, I am switched on. Like I dare anyone to force me to eat food. And I know that's taking years to grow into that confidence as well. But if I'm switched on, I'm like, this is for me. Why would I put everyone else's goals and insecurities ahead of my goals? Because all that's going to happen is I'll get to Sunday night and go, oh, now I've got to restart. But at least Susie over there is happy with herself that I ate the food and she didn't, whatever it is. Like, we don't have to do that. You can put yourself first. If you're in a season where you want to achieve a goal in a certain amount of time and you're sick of seeing the number on the scale not change and you're sick of, seeing everyone else achieve things and you're not, then say no. You can go to these events. And I always tell my clients this. I'm not recommending to never eat at events, but I'm saying that usually events are around 2 to 3 hours. You can survive not eating for 2 to 3 hours and eat beforehand or eat after by preparing ahead of time and just have a Coke Zero there and you'll survive. Like, we go to bed for 8 to 9 hours every single night without food. We still survive. I don't know why you feel like, oh my God, I'm going to die if I go to this event and not eat. What are people going to think of me? No one's thinking anything. The only person that's thinking something is you.
Yeah. And it's just about developing, you just need to want it.
Yeah. It's
just develop delayed gratification because you can't say no to the immediate gratification of eating something that's fun or, having a sugary meal or, oh, no, but I have to have dessert after dinner. No, you don't.
No, you don't. Yeah, it's not you don't have to do it.
If you want that, then pick a smaller dinner and then that way you've got the calories split between dessert and dinner.
Yeah.
But if you want to have both, if you're like, oh, well, I want a massive dinner, then it's like, well, then that's your dessert calories in the dinner. Like, don't have both. But you need to develop the habit and the skill of delayed gratification of saying no in the short term so you can enable yourself to get your true desires, which is to lose the weight.
Yeah.
Or your true desires of whatever it is. But you just need to want it. Like, some people just don't want it enough.
They say they do though.
They say they want it.
But they don't.
But they don't really want it because they're like, oh,
do.
but I would rather just eat whatever on the weekend with my friends and family and everything like that.
Yeah.
Come Monday, then they're complaining.
No, that's so true. No, I agree. Wow, I just lost my train of thought. You keep going because I literally was about to say something and I forgot.
No, I love that. But literally, guys, like it's literally about wanting it more.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say that we live in a world of instant gratification, especially in this day and age. You can order off Amazon and it gets delivered straight away. You can, get on Uber Eats, whatever meals you want right now. Like it's so easy to feel gratified so quickly these days, where it's actually a skill to learn how to delay gratification, and anything worth having it usually involves delayed gratification. So for example, like building muscle, you can't cheat building muscle. It takes some time. It takes constant habits. It takes you showing up consistently, and eventually you will get there. It takes pain to get there. The same thing with weight loss. It's actually going to be painful to say no to certain meals, to say no to certain individuals and feel awkward. It is a bit awkward sometimes. We're not saying it isn't, but I can guarantee that every one of our clients that we post about that are like, wow, we've finally lost 40 kilos. I don't have to keep writing lose weight next year on my to-do list. They are so happy they kept saying no, because the same people that judge them are now asking, how did you do it? So you've just got to get past that first initial awkwardness, the not feeling confident in yourself to say no, but eventually you'll get there.
Yeah. And there's a few daily habits that I recommend all of my clients do. First one is every single morning, wake up and weigh yourself. And you might be thinking like, oh, I don't want to weigh myself every day. I'm scared of weighing myself. But the reason you're scared of weighing yourself is because you know that you haven't fully committed yourself. So you're kind of hoping that it's going to go down. Where my clients who are killing it, the reason that they're actually excited to jump on the scale is because they're like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to hit a new low today.
Yeah.
And we did a whole episode on weight fluctuations, if you do struggle with that. So listen to that episode. But if you're not following your macros, if you're not following the meal plan, if you're not training in the gym, then of course you're going to be scared to jump on the scale, because you know inside that you're not doing the right things to make it shift in the right direction. So you're scared of the scale because you're scared of it showing you and proving that you're not doing the right things that you should be doing.
Yes.
Whereas again, my clients who love weighing in on the scale, it's because, oh, well, every day I'm waking up, I'm weighing in the morning. And every day I'm tracking my nutrition and I'm actually hitting the right goals because I'm saying yes to the right things, no to the wrong things. And I'm moving my body every single day. So whether it's a strength training session every day, or whether it's you do 3 days a week of strength, on those other days, you can't have days where you just don't move your body. Every day, like you're a human, you're built to move. So every day you need at least 30 minutes of dedicated movement, whether it's strength training, whether it's mobility, whether it's going for a walk, and just having that daily exercise just reminds you of your goals every day. And then now you can look forward to weighing in every single morning to, number one, keep you accountable, but number two, you get excited for it because now you know you're doing the right things to move your weight in the right direction.
Yeah, the clients of ours that we see don't track their weigh-ins on Monday, Tuesday. They only start tracking again on Wednesday. We know that they're the clients who we look at their tracking and we only see 100 calories tracked on the weekend. And we're like, well, obviously you've eaten out, didn't track, or you didn't know how to track, and you didn't even try to do it. What that's teaching you and telling yourself is that you're only half in. You're like, oh, whatever, I'll just restart again on Monday. Yeah. The clients who succeed always, like you said, are the ones that get excited to weigh in, that even if they do make a mistake, they still weigh themselves in to remind themselves that they need to get right back on track again. If you keep delaying the weigh-ins, if you keep delaying tracking, you're just going, oh, I'll weigh again in when it looks really good and I've lost a few weights after the inflammation's gone down.
I'll track my day of calories when it's a good day.
When it's a good day. And I'm like, that is already telling us as coaches that you're not fully committed. You say you are, but there's no commitment there. There's a half commitment, and half committed people get half committed results. So that's why it's about going, no, we've actually got to go all in. You've got to flip the script and make it exciting to track things, exciting to, weigh yourself in every morning and see the progress. Like, get excited about this journey. Otherwise, if you're looking at it as a dreadful, oh my goodness, I'm going to miss out, then you are already setting yourself up for failure. You should actually look at it and go, wow, like me saying no to this, I'm actually going to say yes to the life that I've always wanted to live. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Otherwise, everyone would be fit and healthy, but it's going to be so worth it.
Yeah. Did you have any other tips for everyone?
No, I think that was it. That's the main tips, I feel.
Yeah, I think so. But guys, just want it. Like, just want it. And just lean into it.
Be relentless.
Commit. Don't dip your toe in the water, because then it's going to take you all year to lose the weight. Where if you go hard, like we have clients who in 12 weeks lose like 15 kilos.
Yeah.
in 6 months, they can lose 30 kilos. But they're not the people who are like dabbling, who are like just not hitting their calories. Like everything we're talking about today, it's about calorie budgeting so that you still hit the right calorie targets throughout the week. So it's not just eating high calorie meals and allowing it to bump you up above the calories you shouldn't be in. It's calorie budgeting, so you're saving calories from days prior to allow yourself to technically still hit the goals because you've saved the extra 500 to go over by 500.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I actually have no more points. I think we've really made our points here about, how to balance your health and fitness goals while still dating or having a social life over the weekend. Doesn't mean you have to miss out on things. It's just about knowing the season you're in. But also, I think the biggest tip here is just going all in. Be committed to the season you're in and don't look back. And eventually you can start to reintroduce, being way more social than ever and eating fun meals out, etc.
Yeah.
But guys, we really appreciate all your support with this podcast. We say every week, we love the comments. We love you sharing us on Instagram and social media. We love you guys subscribing to us and rating our podcast. It really helps us reach way more people than you think. So if you have the time, please rate us today on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Leave a comment because that helps with our analytics as well. And it helps us reach way more people to inspire. And that's exactly what we want to do.
I love it. Well, guys, go out there and
live the Pro Body lifestyle.